going on, guys? It's KW here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Now, Bitcoin is still sort of consolidating around this area, and there are some people concerned, well, how come the pump stopped? Why isn't it still going? This is good. We're retesting some of that previous resistance as support, right? We did anticipate this. Of course, we are going into the weekend. Anything can happen, and I do have a lot to do this weekend, so I want to get this video out super quick. There are a few things that I want to go over. The first thing is that we did have a little bit of a stall, right, in sort of stocks and Bitcoin as well. That was because people were waiting for the monthly PCE data, which actually came out at around 0.5%, which is what they were expecting. So this was actually kind of good for the markets. We didn't get any surprises out of left field. And, you know, if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically the price that people in the US pay for goods and services, or those buying on behalf of others. And, you know, as you can see, it pretty much came in right where everyone had anticipated it. Now, what's interesting though, and we're going to get to Bitcoin, of course, but Amazon lost around 230 billion in their market cap, down 20% move in the after hours. So just for a reference, Meta, Facebook, their entire market cap is about 265 billion, right? Now, this was because of an earnings report that, you know, came out less than favorable, but obviously getting back to Bitcoin, not really affected again, right? Bitcoin just doing its own thing. So I do want to talk about that. One thing specifically that I want to mention though, is there is this news about the largest Bitcoin miners, the largest in the world. They're called, what are they called? Core Scientific is what they're called. And apparently they're facing some liquidity issues. They're not able to pay back their creditors. They were involved in Celsius in some form. So that's creating a bit of, you know, a stir. I'm going to address that today, whether or not that's actually a bad thing, because they are the largest miners. What happens if the hash rate drops, right? Could that cause some kind of turbulence in the markets, or will more miners be looking to sell? I do want to talk about how that could potentially affect the price. And another thing I want to go over is, you know, we've been going over all these different indicators on the channel, all these different bottoming indicators. I want to go over this one specifically because most of them we can say, you know, are showing that we are bottomed. This one, however, is giving a bit of mixed signals. So I do want to give a very even approach on this channel. We have to look at the pros and the cons that are happening. But I will tell you this, guys, if you stick around to the end of this video, you will see yet again that there is still institutional accumulation happening right now, as well as an increase in retail interest despite having a 70% drawdown. So if all that sounds good to you today, guys, thanks again. Get subscribed if you haven't. And I do want to just say one thing super quick, guys. This is actually time sensitive. So I have partnered with Bitget. We are doing a $30,000 giveaway. If you guys are interested, you can check this out. This is officially on the website. And obviously, you know, as you guys can see right here, you do actually have to sign up with the link below in the description. That's, you know, part of the deal, but you can get $20 just for depositing literally anything. 1,000, you get 100, 2,000, 200, 5,000, you get $300. And then we are going to draw a lucky winner. If you know, obviously do a certain amount of trades in this time, you know, for an extra $1,500. And as you guys can see right here, we are going to announce that on the channel. So if you guys are interested, make sure that you check the links below in the description. And by the way, if you have already signed up, you know, using the link, oh, I just got a long alert. Look at that. That's on the 1 hour. But yeah, if you guys are interested in, you know, doing that, check that out below. There's over $16,000 in bonuses. So just letting you know that's going on for a week, and all the information is below. So let's talk about what's going on in the chart. Now, this is exactly what we're talking about, right? We did break out of these two downward sloping trends. We broke out of the descending triangle, which everybody was saying was bearish. And remember, we kind of called the bluff on that. And look, as you zoom in right here, you can literally see that we're doing exactly what we need to do. Even though we didn't perfectly come down, but you know, this area right here, right, was providing the resistance. And you could see on this candle, we attempted to come back down and test that. So now we are forming a bit of a pattern. If you actually want to look at the pattern we're forming on the lower time frame, it's a perfect parallel channel. I mean, this is literally perfectly, you know, these tops and bottoms are just absolutely nailing it. So far we are trading in this range. Obviously, you know, this is, I'm not telling you to short, but these are the areas. And, you know, that was why, remember I said I had actually closed out of the long. We did hit some of that resistance. So it's very possible that we keep, you know, bouncing around in this range, maybe fake out, come back down here again or something like that. But ultimately, the thing that is a little bit scary, you know, when you're looking about this type of, a channel, is we've actually had multiple channels like this that have formed in Bitcoin. And you can see this one resulted in a downtrend, right? This one resulted in a downtrend. And this one was a little bit weaker, but, you know, once we did hit the peak, we did come down again. So, you know, are we going to end up doing something like that where Bitcoin falls lower? Personally, I don't think so. Mainly, once again, because everyone is looking at this going, oh, we've already had 3 or 4 of these, so same thing's going to happen, right? Probably not, right? That usually you're not going to get that many chances. Ultimately, though, what we do want to look at right here is, and I said this was still possible, there is the potential of that retest down here on this trend. So I'm still looking at around 19,450, this area right here. Could it be possible we don't go down to that level? Maybe. I don't know. But I do think that there is the possibility we retest this one more time just to get that confirmation on the uptrend. And here, and personally, not financial advice, that is where I would be looking to put in, reopen my long again, right around the $19,457 level. So again, if you guys do want to learn how to trade, make sure you check out the tutorial popping up above and get subscribed, because we literally go over this for free every single day. And then what would be the next target? Well, the next target area is around 21,742, so could we see something like this, maybe retest and then boom? Possible, right? But I think this would sort of be that golden zone where you'd want to look at. Now, of course, there is a possibility that whatever pattern we're forming right now just continues to the upside, right? But I would think it would be more likely to come back down and retest one more time. That's just my opinion. We may blast right through it. And one thing I will warn you guys, do not trust the weekend moves. I have seen literally $500,000 candle moves to the upside only to basically get completely wiped away, once Monday comes, because we have that CME futures gap. So do be careful if you're trading over the weekend specifically. Obviously still in this falling wedge pattern. We are above the previous all-time high. And yeah, I do think that as long as we can, close major levels above the previous all-time high, meaning like weekly candles, something like that, dipping below is fine as long as we close above the previous all-time high, which is around 19,800. I don't see an issue. Coming down to 19.5, that would be the retest. And then I do think we're going to probably hold above 19,800 for, I think, the remainder of the year, but that's just my opinion. Obviously we have to follow the charts and see what's forming, but what is clearly forming right here, in my opinion, is a double bottom. And this could take us back up to this downward sloping trend, and if you look at, kind of the time it might take us to get there, you could see a $25,000 Bitcoin maybe, sometime by mid-November. So, I'm not saying we're going to go to the moon. I'm not saying new all-time high. I'm still in the camp that we are going to have a little bit of a relief rally. Now, lots of people on the channel say, K-Dub, you're too bullish. You're always talking about bottom indicators that are confirming. Here's one that is a little bit kind of, tricky. So this is basically the MVRV-Z Score, which really, in a nutshell, just breaking it down, it just assesses the fair value of Bitcoin versus the actual price of Bitcoin, right? And you could see that currently we are very, very close in where the fair value of Bitcoin is, right? Don't forget that crazy 20K to 69, whatever, that was speculation. That was over exuberance. It also had a lot to do with the money printing. But 20K, if you actually follow this out, is sort of where Bitcoin should be right now. The only downside is, zooming in here, you can see that all of these right here mark the bottoms, right? Whenever you get below this level on this score, and that usually is the bottom of the markets, right? Same thing here. So we come down into this area, boom, we had that capitulation, that was the bottom. And obviously once we break out of this and have that confirmed break, well, then we know we're off to the races, right? Well, unfortunately, if we come over here, and same thing happened here, right? We were down in here, but if you look at where we are right now, and I don't know if you guys can see this, I don't know if my head's in the way, I'm trying to zoom in here. So you can see we are in technically the golden buy zone, but it's not as deep of a fall as we've fallen in the past, right? So I'm not saying I'm going bearish, but I just want to be very objective on this channel. Everyone's like, oh, everything is bullish. No, I mean, technically, could we come a little bit deeper? COVID didn't get that low, but that was quick. So that's one thing, maybe that's a possibility why the bottom may not be in. Maybe the fair value needs to come down a little bit lower. That fair value would put Bitcoin more around that $17,000, $18,000 level, right? So is there a possibility that we have, the fake out like we did back here, where we dip back down, and on some charts, August, this was in 2015, we actually, and this one doesn't show it, but on some exchanges, Bitcoin actually flash crashed 30% on the day and put in a lower low than this. But, so technically was the bottom in? I guess technically not on the daily, but the bottom was in. Let's be realistic. That was just something to fake people out. And, that's a possibility. Could we have a flash crash wick back down to 17 or even that 1600K level? Sure. But I imagine it would get bought up very, very quickly. And in that sense, I would still hold true that the bottom, in fact, is in. Now, as Bitcoin Bull pointed out, Crypto Yoda, he said, in this current range-bound phase after a prolonged downtrend, smart money and institutional players aim to build up or take positions without significantly increasing the price, right? So that's another question. And look, if you're new to crypto, it's fine. I get it. I didn't understand this stuff either. It's like, oh, well, if people are buying, why isn't the price moving? We're talking about very sophisticated algorithms, bots, over-the-counter trades, which you can't even see happen, right? They don't want to move the price. If they move the price starts moving too fast, and now they're in this game to try to chase and catch up, right? What they want to do is they want to keep the price low. So most of these big guys probably aren't doing it on the exchange, but what you can do is, just kind of like set those limit orders, let them fill, relax a bit, come back, set the limit orders, right? Or just do an over-the-counter trade. But nevertheless, you can see ultimate accumulation zone right now. Now, are institutions even interested right now? Well, this is a screenshot. It just came out from CNBC halftime report. Institutional crypto buyers' reasons for investing: high potential upside, innovative tech play, enabling decentralization, free from government intervention, and uncorrelated to other assets. Now, this is interesting. 25% are saying that they are starting to see crypto as being uncorrelated. Now, we do believe that a decoupling could be under the way. I mean, just going back here, Amazon literally fell 20%, and here Bitcoin is going sideways, and look at this, attempting to have that breakout, right? So there's a possibility that we could just pump through these levels by the weekend. Personally, I like when we come back and retest the levels, but we could have retested it if we look right here. This could have been the test, the center of the heart line. This could have been the test right here, this resistance, right? So getting back to essentially what I was saying, look at this. And the people that participated in this survey, you have 48% of them being high net worth individuals, 37% of them being financial advisors, meaning the people that financially advise their clients what they should do with their money, 37% of them looking into crypto, looking into Bitcoin, right? Family offices, 25%, and then we have some laggards back here. So there clearly is institutional interest, and we looked at a Wyckoff pattern yesterday. It does look like typical accumulation, right? Distribution's usually at the top, accumulation is usually at the bottom. We also have another survey that was conducted by Charles Schwab that shows that nearly half of Gen Z and millennials want Bitcoin and other assets like this in their retirement plan. According to the data, 46% of Gen Zs included digital assets when asked what they would like to see in their 401k products, while 45% of millennials also included digital assets. Now, what's interesting is you're seeing a lot of Gen Z saying they're interested, millennials interested. However, it seems that the millennials are the majority of the buyers. 47% of digital asset users are millennials, with only 17.4% being Gen Z. But buyers in those categories make up over 93% of the market, leaving Gen X at 5% and boomers at around 1.2. So this is showing you that the direction, the trend, right? This $37 trillion that Mark Yusko was talking about, this great transfer of wealth, it's coming into the younger generations. The younger generations are moving away from the traditional investments, and they're moving into things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and crypto, right? NFTs absolutely booming. You guys saw what happened with Reddit, right? So definitely still think that this train is on track. Now, here's the scary story that's freaking people out, right? So Core Scientific, which is the world's largest Bitcoin mining company, has revealed some significant details about its financial health that has investors and stakeholders worried. Core Scientific has listed a number of reasons for the unfortunate conditions of their finances, including the non-repayment issue, clearly with Celsius, right? So this is that sort of a forced liquidation period that we're talking about, right? These are, sellers that are being forced to sell. They're being liquidated, right? Obviously because of this, Celsius thing, which is why I think the capitulation, the majority of it, has happened. These circumstances have forced the management to stop making payments to its creditors for the following months. Additionally, efforts are being made to decrease capital expenditures and monthly costs and increase hosting revenues. Now, if we come over here, this is basically the breakdown. They will not make loan payments due October and November. They're engaged law firms for capital raise or restructuring, but here is the most important part. Their Bitcoin reserve is down to only 24 Bitcoin as of October 26th. So I'm seeing a lot of people FUD about this, but realistically, they've done the majority of the selling. They've already sold. We've had that capitulation. They have 24 Bitcoin left in their reserve. that 24 Bitcoin is not going to move the market. And if it does, it would literally move it for a couple minutes, and that would be it, right? Now, is there the fear that we start to have other miners capitulating? Well, we saw on the hash ribbon indicator that the miners were capitulating. We saw that. We called that on the day that it happened. We knew this was coming. And we also know that when this event does happen, not to get back to the bottom indicators, it usually is that bottom, right? This is when everyone's exhausted, they're liquidated, they're selling, they're out of their positions. You have these big guys going belly up, 3AC, 3 hours capital. So for me personally, I don't think this is a big deal. Now, some people are worried, well, what if the hash rate drops? Well, we've had hash rate drops before in Bitcoin's history. And really all that would do, I mean, it could freak people out on the news for people that don't truly understand how the network works. I mean, but really it would just give a little bit of breathing room to the rest of the miners that are still out there, and the difficulty would adjust, making it, fair play again, right? So not a big deal. It's unfortunate to see this. Once again, something that ties into the Celsius issue, right? Not your keys, not your coins. I can't stress this enough. Do not leave coins on exchanges, and treat them like they're a bank or something like that. They're not. Put it in a cold storage wallet. If you're not trading, there's no reason to have coins on exchanges. But personally, I think this is just a little bit of misconcerned, confused FUD. Maybe people don't understand. Things like this happen all the time. Could it freak people out short term? Of course, right? Because the news will twist it and make it into this thing. But ultimately, the network is fine. Hash rate coming down, not always a great thing, right? That means less security. But overall, this is what Bitcoin was designed to do. And that's why these parameters are in place, right? The hash rate adjusts. We have the difficulty adjusting. That's why Satoshi did what he did to foresee these types of situations, right? Just wanted to kind of calm you guys down if you're freaking out over that. DXY did have a bounce off of this resistance right here. So, got to keep an eye on the DXY. Is it really truly topping out, or are we just setting up for another run, right? That is something we have to keep our eyes on. But as I said, once again, I can't stress it out. The Bitcoin 4-year cycle is still on track. There's nothing different about what's going on. Sure, some of the structure is different, the double top, sitting below the 200 weekly, very minor differences, percentage-wise, length-wise, time-wise, having everything's still on track. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Do be safe if you're trading over this weekend. Not a fan of weekend trading. You might be able to catch some moves, but 9 times out of 10 come Monday, it's the same price it was on Friday, right? So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos in the first place. And of course, if you do want to learn how to trade, make sure that you watch this tutorial popping up right here, right now. And if you want to get those extra bonuses, check the links below. That's it for me. You guys rock. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.